Alumni Podcast with Tek and Prem.
It's the Vet Alumni Podcast. I'm Tek. He's Prem. The Phils.
Hey, look, we talked about it last week. Record pace. Now, as it stands right now, Tek, they have a 44-19 mark, the same record as the 1927 Yankees had.
There we go.
After this many games.
They swept Rhys Hoskins and the first place Brewers. And
yeah, they did.
Now it's off to London this weekend. I got to tell you, I'm not crazy about it.
Me neither.
London doesn't have a baseball vibe. It's an American pastime. I don't think they fully get it. But nevertheless, I'm expecting a split with the Mets. It's the best I can hope for.
Yeah, you got Taijuan Walker going one of those games, and unfortunately, the guy just doesn't really belong in this rotation.
No, with the exception of him, the rotation's been excellent. The bullpen's been good enough to keep them in these close games right down to the end, win or lose.
Phenomenal, man. Matt Strahm is just automatic.
Automatic, and for the most part, Hoffman is too.
Yeah.
The offense has done just enough to win these games, but against better teams like Boston, right? Boston, to me, if they were in the National League, they'd be as good as the Brewers.
Probably. Okay? That's a fair assessment. I mean, they pounded the Braves the other day.
They're a good team.
They're in a tough division.
And they're in the best division in baseball.
Absolutely.
And I think that you cannot go sleepwalking offensively through games against teams like Boston and Baltimore, and you're there. You're in Boston. You're in Baltimore. You're not going to be able to get away with these atrocious, leaving runners in scoring position and men on inning after inning. Bohm coming up, soft ground ball.
But the difference is they're just a winning club.
I get it.
They're 36-11.
I understand.
Since they were 8-8.
I get it.
They're just a winning club. You're going to win a lot of games 2-1, 3-2.
I get it.
Against good teams. And the Brewers, that's their MO. Their MO is they play these tight, weird games, and they tend to win them close.
But it wasn't even. They did it against the Rockies. They did it against the Giants. It's like, I get it.
But then you come home and you win, 5 or 6?
Yes, they did it against the Cardinals, too, even though I will say this. 2 of those wins were convincing.
Yeah, they were.
Against the Cardinals. The 2 that they won. I think the last one
they could have easily won the other one too. Yeah,
they're losing a lot of these.
Teams have to take them to extra innings to beat them.
Yeah, a lot of these losses are extra inning losses.
Pretty wild. 6 of them. Yeah.
A lot of these extra inning losses are Phillies aren't getting the zombie runner home. And
it's odd, right?
And that is odd because even mediocre teams are getting the zombie runner home with sack fly, ground ball, sack fly, and boom, he's home.
Yeah, but these are like all individual cases. You can't generalize that kind of thing to me.
I know.
They're individual situations. And
I just, and I just look at like Bohm and Stott right now. They're struggling. And Castellanos, a guy who just stinks, he's not now.
Well, that's how it's going to go.
He won you 2 of these 3 Brewers games.
That's how it's going to go. You're going to have guys cool off, heat up. And then the thing is, with this team, there's so much talent that you're always going to have enough guys that are heating up to get wins.
Right. The one trend that we talked about a couple weeks ago as being something that they have totally gotten away from is back, relying on the home run to win these games, to score runs. Some of these runs in these last wins were home runs.
Yeah, it'll come in waves. It'll come in waves. It will. They'll get back to small ball, and then all of a sudden we'll have a series where they don't hit any home runs, and they're driving people in with singles.
Yeah.
And this and that, and then it'll be back to doing home runs. That's the type of thing they could win. They've shown you now at this point. They could win baseball games any way they're asked to.
Yeah.
At one point or another.
The pitching has
and defense
been,
won this Brewers series. That was all defense that won that series.
Defense, and by the way, Bryson Stott, this guy, he's got to win a Gold Glove.
Yeah, he's a Gold Glover.
He's got to.
He's got to be top 3 right now.
And look, the thing that hurts me is that the Phillies, other teams, right, they'll kind of admit a mistake. They'll move a guy to a position that he belongs in, or they'll move a guy. Like, Trey Turner's going to come back and be the starting shortstop every day. Well, that's what he's going to be.
But he should be, though, still.
25 errors.
It's okay, though. He's Trey Turner. It's not going to stay like that. These are anomalies.
I don't believe that. I don't think he's ever been a great shortstop, ever. I don't think he's ever been a great shortstop.
Been above average, yeah.
Above average, maybe.
But it's what he does with the bat. I mean, you're talking about a guy that, top in the leagues in hits.
I'm not saying Turner shouldn't be in the lineup. Turner should be back in the lineup, batting second. But I don't know about him. I watch Sosa's made a couple mistakes. Sosa's been really good.
He's really
for the most
solid
part.
over there, man.
But
Sosa,
Bryson
yeah.
Stott is lights out at short or second base.
He's your second baseman, though. You don't move
I know.
him. And he even said he wants to stay at second base.
I know he is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's almost a breath of fresh air watching
It
him
is.
do some of the things he does at shortstop.
I know, man.
Because I haven't seen a great shortstop. I mean, since who? I mean,
Yeah. Well, since Jimmy probably.
Jimmy.
Yeah, it's probably been that long.
He's the name I was thinking of, Jimmy.
Probably been that long.
It has to have been that long because when I look at Trey Turner, I'm like, damn, I just wish he was a better defensive shortstop. If he was, I would have zero. I'd be like, yo, Trey Turner is the man.
We have a good problem with this team. We have like, you know, when you look at this roster, probably like 13 position players could be starters.
Yeah, but look,
It's pretty wild to me after what we've dealt with.
Brandon Marsh is hurt.
He is. He'll be back, though.
Self-corrects that whole what are you going to do when Trey Turner comes back problem, at least for right now, because Marsh is probably out another 3 weeks.
Yeah,
maybe
something
a
like
month.
that. I mean, probably about that. Because the strain from what I hear isn't as bad as Trey's was. It's
Yeah,
pretty
but
mild.
it looked worse.
Yeah, it's a tough injury, man. I've dealt with a hamstring injury. I've dealt with a quad injury when playing ball. And it's the kind of thing where, really, on a microscopic level, that is actually a partial muscle tear.
Right.
And the top of the muscle does tear. And if you're not careful and you come back too soon, then that whole muscle can tear. But with a grade, I forget how the grading goes, grade 1 strain or 3. I forget what is more severe or less severe. But with the least severe one, it's barely a tear. Obviously, it's more like a strain, you'd say. But you know, it's something to be careful with because these guys go hard and
They do.
Marsh has the jets to turn on in the outfield to get to these fly balls.
Now they're going to be looking for an outfielder.
And they should, you know. But Rojas, he's hit safely in like 6 of his last 7 games. He's getting 2 out hits almost every time he has an opportunity.
Yeah,
lately.
now I'm beginning to think Pache's being overmatched
Yeah.
at the plate, and
Yeah.
he may be the guy that you consider replacing before the postseason.
Rojas is improving. He's definitely improving, and he's definitely upped his defense too. He's made some really nice plays the last few times out.
Yeah, I'm seeing names like this Lewis Robert Jr. from the White Sox.
Yeah, I've heard him
a lot.
pop up too. I like this Brent Rooker kid, man.
I would go with Rooker.
They're not going to let him go though.
Now,
He's
the
an
problem
MVP
is,
caliber player.
Anybody you go to trade for, these teams want Aiden Miller, and I'm not willing to give up Aiden Miller, and I'll tell you why.
No, you can't.
I believe not only is he a phenom at the plate, he's a tremendous defensive shortstop, something Trey Turner isn't. And eventually, I don't believe defensively Trey Turner is blocking Aiden Miller in this.
No, because you can. I agree with what Jason Martinez said a couple weeks ago. You can move Trey to an outfield spot. The guy can play the outfield.
But I don't think that's going to happen this year.
Not this year, but I'm saying when Aiden is on his way up. Say it's probably going to be realistically 2 seasons from now.
In 2 years.
Because he's going to fly through that system.
In 2 years, Schwarber might not be here anymore, and Trey Turner might be your DH.
And that's fine because the guy is a professional hitter.
Yeah.
If he does anything great, he can hit. Yeah.
Yeah. Just an honorable mention here. David Dahl is tremendous.
What a great performance.
The other night, he was hitting. They pinch hit Pache, and Pache comes in and strikes out twice.
Well, that was a righty-lefty thing.
Yeah, but it's like,
but Pache has had some big hits this year. He had the game winner on Jackie Robinson Day.
Yeah.
He tends to really see the thing about Pache is the average isn't great. We know that, but he's got that thing where in a big moment where the crowd needs him to do something, he tends to deliver sometimes those moments.
Yeah.
He does. He's got that extra like oomph in those moments, but he's not a great hitter per se. It's a weird thing. It's almost like the Greg Dobbs effect. I feel like Pache like partially has the Greg Dobbs effect. Sometimes.
I always think about Stubbs. I think about Dobbs.
Hey, talk about turning it on.
Yeah, Stubbs is a guy who comes in and always, even if he's not like hitting, he'll do like something to affect the game.
Yeah, he's been a firecracker lately.
Yeah, I listen. I like Stubbs.
Me too.
I like Stubbs a lot, and JT has just been. He's been helping this team win these games.
Wow,
he
man.
took a shot to the nuts and was all right.
These guys are playing defense that we haven't seen really probably since the 08-09 teams.
Yeah, he made a couple plays where a guy was thrown out at the plate.
He did. And Stubbs
just
too.
this week.
Stubbs too.
Stubbs too.
I mean, the foot action by Stubbs
tremendous.
on that.
I didn't think that was legal. I was like, uh-oh.
I didn't think it
blocking.
was either. But you know what? He's
And they
entitled.
didn't say nothing.
He's entitled to his motion.
Yeah, when McCarthy said, and then he got the foot in the perfect spot, it's like, did he? Because I thought that is illegal.
Well, you know.
I thought that used to be legal. And now I felt like they changed the rule and it's illegal.
They should have never touched that rule. It's one of the great parts of baseball.
Yes, knock over the catcher like you
when you're I don't care about these guys are going to get hurt. It's baseball, all right?
Yes.
They're making so much money. They're playing like they're passionate children still. It's a child's game. You know, you're gonna have a collision at the plate. This is how guys like Pete Rose made a living.
That's how they played.
Guys, it's part of the game. So
change the game.
I hate that they legislated that out.
I know.
I hate that.
All right, we'll hit the vet line with Haley Taylor Simon, and that's going to be good.
It is.
She knows her stuff.
Absolutely.
And she especially knows the Flyers. So
yeah.
I'm going to sneak one in there.
Yeah, well, we have to.
But first, brought to you by the Fairless Hills Academy of Music, it's time for VetPhact.
This is a VetPhact.
Well, Tek, in the magical year of 1980, the Philadelphia Phillies would host the Chicago Cubbies on June 7th, 1980, and they would get the W 5-2. We know these vet facts are fun when I go to these magical years. The Phils had 14 hits on the day, only got 5 across, but that's all they needed. What a team effort this was. Every single starter, except for Maddox, had a hit.
Wow.
Every single one. Schmitty had 3 hits. Boone had 2 hits. Trio had 2 hits. Rose had 2 hits. 5 different Phils drive-in runs. What a day. They were only 5 for 14 with runners in scoring position with 9 left on base, like I said. But it didn't matter.
For errors. This is going on for errors.
So, starter Randy Lurch, who had a 2-7 record after this game, only got his second win. He was 1-7 going into this game.
No wonder I never heard of him.
6 2/3, scattered 5 hits, only allowed 2 runs, only struck out 2 and walked 4. He had a 4.63 ERA. It didn't matter. Dickie Knowles gets the save. What a day to be at the vet. I'm sorry, an evening to be at the vet.
Oh, it was an evening
game. 31,153. Packed the vet, which is like half of the vet.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, that's not really packed.
You'll like this, Tek. The Cubs had a second baseman named Mike Tyson. Phenomenal. He was only hitting 244. Really not any notable names on this game, on this team. You had Bill Buckner pinch hit for the Cubs.
Okay.
A young Bill Buckner, I guess.
A young Bill Buckner before he was disgraced.
Before he was absolutely disgraced.
In infamy.
What a day, though. What a day. And Schmitty, 3 for 4. Very rare that Schmitty has these big vet facts.
Yes.
Again, just a total team effort. This was reminiscent of what that team was. Everybody contributed, kind of like we see with the 2024 Phils, Tek.
Yeah.
Everybody
contributes.
Everybody's always trying to get in on the action, make it happen. Well, on June 7th, 1980, that's exactly what happened. They would win by a score of 5-2, got 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th. They only allowed the Cubs to get 1 in the 6th and 1 in the 7th and held them to 6 hits overall. Each team committed 1 error.
Yeah.
There you have it, Tek. June 7th, 1980.
Woo! The Eagles. OTAs have begun.
I'm excited, man. We're like 2 months away from actually being truly excited about football.
Yeah, I mean, look, apparently Jalen Hurts has looked awful.
I'm really not concerned. I'm curious what Haley's going to have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's throwing interceptions every day. One was a pick 6 from Isaiah Rodgers.
At least Rodgers looks good.
Yeah. Look, I'm not overly concerned about this at all.
It's too early.
But I'm mildly concerned. But it's like
that's because you're
concerned.
you.
I know, but like mildly concerned for me at this level in June is like my eyebrows are raised.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough.
I'm like,
it's a new system, you know.
Yeah, and look, they're
every year for this guy, it's like a new system.
I know, and he's
crazy, bro.
I'll chalk this up to. He's getting on the same page, and there's going to be some kinks along the way that has to get worked out. And maybe it's good that he's getting through it now, throwing these picks, seeing what works and what doesn't work. So once they get to the real deal training camp where the practices are in pads, it's a whole different story. All right, we mentioned Rodgers. The cornerbacks, they've looked good, but what was originally reported doesn't seem to be true anymore. Quinyon Mitchell was cemented as CB2, but that doesn't seem to be the case now.
Nothing's cemented in OTA.
I know, but even before that, it looked like coming into the whole process, he was going to be the starting corner. They drafted him to be the starting corner.
Well, they have versatility with these guys, I think.
It looks now that there is a battle for CB2 brewing between Keely Ringo and Isaiah Rodgers, who both look great.
Ringo, apparently, some people in the Philly sports media world think Ringo's going to be the guy.
They think he's going to be the guy.
And
Rodgers
that would
be
be fine because, look, I trust Vic Fangio's eyes.
Right.
I trust what he thinks he's seeing, and I'm okay with that.
My thing is, now you got guys that can play outside corner. You got multiple guys where last year it was like if Slayer Bradbury went out, you're screwed. And, now you got Ringo and Rodgers, guys who can both play outside, and that is tremendous. James Bradbury sighting. He's taking reps at safety.
It makes a lot of sense because when a guy, number one, has probably lost a step in terms of acceleration, in terms of makeup speed, these things that a cornerback has to have, which Bradbury's lost those things, safety is a good transition. And not only that, Tek, but the truth is, James Bradbury, he alternates good and bad years.
Well, yes.
We heard that, I think, from one of our guests recently. We heard that.
Right. And I think...
And it's true.
I think that was Stolas who said it.
Might have been, yeah.
I will say this. I find this interesting, but I still don't think he'll be on the roster. I actually think this is a last-ditch effort.
Okay, all right. I see that angle.
To switch his position, make him show versatility, leak reports that he looks good at safety,
okay, all right.
and then try to move him during training camp.
Posturing?
I do. I actually do think this is posturing. And for what it's worth, Maddox is also learning to play safety too.
Well, Maddox is a natural safety.
And that makes sense because...
I'd be actually very happy with that because you could put DeJean in the slot. I would love for Cooper to be in the slot.
It makes sense when you consider, one, how deep they are at corner, and two...
How many times have we said that in our lives?
Never. And two, how good Cooper DeJean has looked pretty much anywhere they've put him.
Dude, that kid is a star in the making. I know he's just a rookie. I know it's just OTAs. But at every level he's been at, he's excelled. And he's played like every sport.
Yeah, he's an athlete.
He's an athlete. That's the truth.
Good. And I've heard multiple people report that he's actually they've put him everywhere. They put him in the box. They put him in the slot. They've put him on the outside. They've had him at safety, and everywhere they put him, he's very DeJean. He's very versatile, and he's actually looked better than Mitchell for the most part when they've played him. Now.
Cooper could have been the first pick over Mitchell. That was interchangeable.
It was interchangeable at that point. Yeah. Mitchell is a great zone corner, so I have a funny feeling that Ringo or Rodgers, probably Ringo, we'll see in training camp. One of those guys will be the starter, but anytime they go into a zone, it's going to be Mitchell out there.
Yeah, and you know what, man? These guys are good football players.
Yes.
It's not about, he should be cemented at the outside corner position.
No,
he's got to be your slot guy. These guys are interchangeable.
I believe it.
Think about now what happens to a guy like Reed Blankenship. Because
Well,
he's got a role, but he's a depth player now.
I hope Sidney Brown is the guy at safety.
I think he should be.
With CJGJ.
Yeah, because that's but you don't want to have too much aggression on the backside of the secondary.
That's true.
Because then you're getting burnt. Because we know that CJGJ likes to sniff around the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
If you're not getting home, you're in trouble.
Another thing I read that's very interesting was the idea in the beginning was that Vic Fangio, he's coming in with a hardcore 3-4, and he'll switch up the package depending on the offensive situation. But what I'm hearing is that he's seeing that the biggest weakness on his defense is the middle. So what he's doing is he's bringing a 5-man technique, lining up 5 up front. And he's lining, and that's on some packages, and then he'll do what's called the big nickel, where they'll bring out a third safety.
That's almost like the old Buddy Ryan style.
Well, it's really to cover up the fact that if you go 3-4, you ain't stopping the run. You don't have the personnel to stop the run.
You lost Fletch. That's huge.
Yeah, and you're weak in the middle. No matter how you slice or dice it, you're weak in the middle. And a lot of these practices, Zach Bond is the starting linebacker over Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean is fighting for a spot with Vic Fangio's defense.
I think Zach Bond, from projections I've seen, he's going to be the starter.
He's picked up the defense, and I got a funny feeling.
He's got more in-game experience.
When they signed him, I was like, who? But Fangio wasn't like who. This was a Fangio guy.
Bond was a third-round pick, I think, initially by the Saints, and they had high hopes for him.
I think Fangio knew who he was and favored him, and he came in right away and picked up Fangio's system, and Fangio was like, yo, this guy, he's got it.
Football soon, Tek.
Exactly.
Football soon,
That's why
man.
this is all exciting. Another concern real quick was the O-line. Not 100% sure on what's going on. The defense has won on every practice. Hurts is being rushed. He's being sacked. He's being rushed and thrown interceptions.
Well, that's a good sign because the defense is the problem.
Yes,
was the problem.
But it could also be the O-line is getting beat.
There's a lot yet to be determined here. Just OTAs. We're not into the preseason yet. We ain't even to actual training camp yet.
I read these notes.
Like Donovan McNabb would say a couple years ago, pump the brakes.
I know. I read these notes from the various
me too.
writers that are there.
It's good and bad. It's
the
double-edged
Ed Kratzes and the John McMullins.
Chris Franklin posting some good videos. Our guy.
And I'm Rube. I'm reading these like OTA news and notes. And I'm startled by some of it, and I'm almost like, there's no way that if this was training camp, it wouldn't just be a mild concern.
You want to get down there with the selfie stick and hold it over the bushes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yo, what's going on?
What's going to be going on is this team's going to win 12 games, and they're going to be 12-5.
Listen, I hear you. It's
5 losses.
I got them at 11 with a 12 ceiling and a 10 floor.
I would be, this 10 is low.
Now, if they win against Green Bay, all bets might be off, and they might be able to activate that 12-win window immediately going into week 2.
Let's activate it in Sao Paulo.
Is
that where it is, Sao Paulo?
Yeah, it is. It's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
All right. Let's hit the vet line with Haley Taylor Simon next.
Vet Alumni. And now, it's the Vet Line.
Why don't you answer your phone?
Joined now on the Vet Line by Haley Taylor Simon. Of course, needs no introduction, Tek.
Nope, no
Haley,
introduction.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So there's a lot to talk about in town right now. We have a Phillies team that is on a record pace.
Oh, yeah.
And just winning at a clip that we really haven't ever seen. What do you expect we're going to see in London with the Mets in 2 games?
Oh, these 2 games in London easily are going to go to the Phillies. I think right now it's like a Philly invasion in London with all that I'm seeing. So I think that the fans are going to be there supporting the Phils. The team is on such a hot streak right now, right? Just swept the Brewers, one of the best teams in baseball too. And the Mets suck. So obviously these 2 games are going to go to the Phillies.
I would like to agree. I feel nervous about Taijuan Walker, although it is his former team.
He gets good run support, too.
He does get good run support.
Say that.
Yeah, he does. So, speaking of the Phils then still, who's been the most impressive for you that we didn't expect to be impressive?
That's a good one. Obviously, I'm going to have to say my boy, Ranger Suarez. I don't think many people expected him to be as good as he is this season. So Ranger, but then also even Pache, he's been impressing me a little bit.
Yeah.
Alec Boehm, I know that he fell off a little bit too, but impressive. Like, he is playing like an MVP. It's the whole team. Like, I can go on and on. It really is the whole team. Nick Castellanos has been hot lately, so I think this whole team's just been impressive. But if it's one guy, give me Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, Ranger has just been remarkable. When you look at our staff, you have 4 of the top 7 or 6 ERAs in baseball, which is unheard of. I mean, probably not since 2011. Right. With that amazing rotation that we had, which unfortunately we didn't get the grand prize with those guys.
Ranger survived the contusion.
Defeater of bruising, conqueror of hand bone.
Oh my gosh, that scared me so much.
Oh yeah.
I was like in a panic position. I was like sitting staring at my wall. I couldn't even like watch the rest of the game. I'm like, if he is hurt and he's out, I'm done with baseball.
I know.
Because
I
officially the
know.
baseball gods would hate us.
I was very, very nervous too. As soon as I heard contusion, though, I was a bit encouraged because that's just a fancy word for bruise. You know, it sounds like the guy's like going to have to get surgery. He's got a contusion. It's really just
It's like one of those words where it's like the medical jargon kind of just isn't for us sports people.
I know. And then obviously we know Marsh getting bit by the hamstring bug. What do you want to see happen when Trey comes back in terms of how they're going to shuffle to try to keep Sosa in the lineup?
Don't put Trey in the outfield.
Not a
people
proponent
talk
of that.
about that. Don't do that. No.
I agree
that's
for now.
a tough one.
Yeah.
Because, I know that, we miss Trey, but sometimes when I'm watching the Phils now, I don't even notice that he's not in.
Right.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Is that bad to say? I feel like that's so
I
bad
feel the
to
same
say.
way.
Well, no, that's an indication just of how strong this team is as a whole. I mean, they play as a unit. These guys love each other.
It's hard to say I don't miss Trey. It's like that's crazy. It's crazy.
Premier shortstop
it's the
in
way
the
I
league.
feel though. I don't.
And I don't notice that he's not in.
Yes.
Yeah, well, what you would notice, for example, is some of those Brewers games were close, right? 2-0, 3-2, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Maybe those games are 5-2 and 3-0 if Trey's in the lineup. For example.
Maybe they don't sleepwalk. As much as
maybe he gets an ovation again.
Right, well, hey. Speaking of ovations,
he will when he comes back.
You know what? And that would be just funny for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
But ovations were given out to our guy Reese, who obviously one of the most iconic moments in Phillies playoff history to me. I have it on the Souvenir Cup, guys.
People actually thought he was going to get booed.
That's crazy.
That's
absolutely nuts. Were you at any of those games, Haley? Did you attend?
I wasn't, but I watched them. And I live only 5 minutes away from the ballpark, and everybody in my neighborhood walking to the game had their Hoskins jerseys on. It was really nice to see.
Yeah, he's just a phenomenal guy and a homegrown player.
I wasn't even mad at him when he hit the home run.
No, it's funny because I tweeted, as long as the Phils win 7-1 and the one is a Reese bomb, it was only 3-1, so it was a bit more nerve-wracking.
Yes, it was.
But, that's how it goes. On to the Birds. We know what's been going on down there at the NovaCare. We had some interesting press conferences, responses today.
Yeah.
What do you make of Jalen today at the podium?
Interesting talk, right? That's interesting. But you know what? I feel like this team, especially at this first mandatory minicamp that they've had to go under, I think that they know the direction that they're at. I think that a lot of people are taking what they're saying out of context. And that's that. I can't tell you that some of the things that they say don't annoy me at times. But looking at this, I think that it's only June. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I agree. It's early.
With that being said, all the daily reports, they come out. I mean, literally every day.
Here we go.
Jalen Hurts looking awful at OTAs. I mean, just like you said, look, I am not overly concerned about this, but what's your level of concern?
None. I think people none.
I like it.
I'll tell you why. People will put things out on social media, these media members, to get people fired up. Do I think that he looks awful? I don't know. I wasn't there. But what I can say about Jalen is that he is somebody that I watched throughout college at Alabama, Oklahoma, and I watched him for so many years before he became a Philadelphia Eagle. It's June. He's working out on some things. He's poised. He's not going to ball all out during a mini camp in June. So for all of these people that are like, he looks awful, this is a concern. Is it a concern? Now, if it was maybe August, okay.
Fair. Yeah.
What's going on here? But this is the whole point of these mini camps. This is the whole point of OTAs. It is to work out on things that you need to improve on. So I think I'd be more concerned if they were saying, oh, he looks great, he doesn't have to work on anything.
True.
Because then that to me would be like, okay, well, are they actually practicing? Because they say that he looks bad. It's like, okay, maybe he's working on some things that he didn't get down last season. And last season didn't end well. So
it's a new system.
There's no concern.
Yeah.
What are you looking most forward to seeing this season? The offense or the defense?
Defense.
Me too.
Really? You know what? Me too.
Because it's the key.
As much as like Saquon and like the whole they're
going to score points.
I am most looking forward to seeing what this defense looks like. Most of my question marks are on the defensive side.
Bradbury at safety, maybe?
Too.
Bradbury at safety, Haley. What do you think about that?
That'd be interesting.
I think so.
But one player that I really want to see improve this season is Jordan Davis. I'm a big fan of Jordan Davis. I even have his jersey.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, like as soon as he got drafted and they selected a number for him, I got the jersey.
Nice.
I'm crazy. I get the most random jerseys, but the defense, I know last year kind of fell apart, but a lot of the question marks are on the Eagles' defense. No excuses this season at all for it, to be honest. So that's what I want to see. The offense, I can expect good things out of them, right? I can expect, Saquon to be phenomenal. I can expect, Devontae to play well, A.J. Brown, Jalen, all the guys. I expect good things. The defense, that's a make or break for how the team's going to do this season.
Absolutely. But the right interior part of the offensive line is the only concern.
That's a concern, too.
Because you just don't really know yet.
No.
And Kelsey, as much as he was all undersized guy, this and that, he understood how to adjust those protections at an all-world level.
Yeah.
What do you feel about Juergens?
So I think the thing about Juergens is he's had a couple years to really learn, through Kelsey about, how he controlled the offense. But again, I have to trust our players. They drafted him for a reason, and you have to trust too that they wouldn't put somebody in a position as big as a void as that's going to be if they didn't think that he was the right guy. He's young. He's only 24. He has so much time that he can spend to develop. And right now, I feel good about him. I mean, the worst that can happen is he doesn't play well and they have to put somebody else there. But
right.
I think that's why these OTAs, these mini camps that Sirianni is finally having, is so necessary due to all the changes that this team's really had to go through this past season.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big change, too. I mean, Kellen Moore's system is a completely different
I'm so excited for Kellen Moore, though. I think that having a coordinator that, has been so successful with his offense in the past is going to be a good thing. And then Sirianni having less control over the offense and just being a coach of the entire team is going to set the Eagles up for more success.
Yeah. I mean, I hope.
You're on board, Tek.
I hope.
Because, you see, Haley, between me and Tek, I'm usually the more leaning optimistic guy. He's usually sky is falling, doom and gloom.
I'm just skepticism. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just skeptical
being
of
a
what
Philly
I'm saying.
person, I get that.
Well, he is. I mean,
I get
South
that.
Philly zone over here.
Yeah, I'm just skeptical. I see year after year, I see a lot of the same trends from, by the way, all our teams. It doesn't matter who the coach is, who the personnel is.
I know.
It's like a lot of these similar trends. So I just hope they can get that together. But let's skip ahead to your bread and butter, Haley, the Flyers.
Flyguys.
Listen, I know that there's no official update, but what's your sense of where things are headed with Michkov and the Flyers this season? Because this is a game changer, this guy. He's a franchise changer.
It's huge. So yesterday, Jones had a press conference and he said that there was no update. And he reads all of our stuff that we put out there. But what I think is also through social media that Michkov has been liking different posts on Instagram, on Twitter about all the rumors about him. So I think that some of it is true. I think that maybe he does want to play here in Philadelphia. Do I also think at the same time that he needs to finish out his contract with the SKA? Maybe. Again, there's nothing confirmed about it, but there is a sense of that he does want to be here. And if he is here, Jonesy said it best, the Flyers would welcome him with open arms. Would you really say that if there was no truth behind any of it? And that's when you have to dig into the things that are said during these press conferences. He said, oh, no update, but yet the Flyers would welcome him with open arms. Then he also said something else about how this would kind of like speed up the timeline. If there was no truth behind it, why even say any of that? Maybe a message was being sent out to Michkov, hey, if you do come over here, you're more than welcome to. We want you to come here. So I think right now I am going to lean towards it probably won't happen for at least the beginning of the season. But I wouldn't be surprised towards the end of the season if he does play a couple games as a Philadelphia Flyer.
That'd be phenomenal.
It would be, and because I know this impacts their thinking. It impacts the way they're going to go into free agency. It impacts their draft. I mean, what they have 2 first rounders. They could package them up to move up. They could
pull off a Howie.
Yeah, they can make moves based on Michkov coming over. Now, if Michkov is not going to come over right away, I think Jones is more likely to say, listen, let's press the pause button on a little bit. Let's be conservative. And let's not go after the big time guy in free agency or the complimentary piece, or let's not move up that high in the draft. Let's just kind of hedge our bets.
Still.
Yeah.
They could do both. They could. And I see, that's the thing. I trust Jonesy because I believe the guy is a hockey genius. I trust him with this organization. So I didn't trust the corporate suit and ties that ran it in years past.
Right.
But now that Jonesy and even Briere are the hockey guys are in charge.
They are.
I feel a lot better about the direction of the team. I just feel like if you got Michkov, it's almost like getting a Yammer Yager kind of player in his, like young Yammer Yager, and now you can really build a team around him. And now the Flyers would be must-see TV again.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of the team around him, Haley, looking into your crystal ball, who is the most improved player on the Flyers this year coming up, and why do you think that'll happen?
Yes, the most improved player would have to be Tyson Forster. I've said this all along. He had a phenomenal rookie season. A player that I said from the beginning, since he was a prospect, would be such a great fit for this team. I think that he is somebody that's going to be with this team for so many years to come. I know the obvious answer, right, is Travis Konechny. And while he did have a good season, a little bit older, 27 years old, not old in real life, but in hockey, that's getting kind of up there. But when I'm looking at somebody that's going to continue to grow and continue to really be a part of this organization, Forster has what it takes. And people would be silly to not look at this kid and think, okay, this could be one of the best Flyers, and not of all time in any way, but at least of this era that we have going on here.
Now, you mentioned Travis Konechny, and I was going to get to that. You see a long-term deal happening for Konechny, or is he somebody that they package up in a trade?
She shoots it down right away.
Yeah, I mean, because I really did believe in Konechny a few years ago when he first started. I said, this guy, he's the future. And then he hasn't really lived up to what I thought he was going to be. You're saying no. No, unequivocal no.
I'm the same way. Before, being a reporter and covering the team, I was a fan first. And I have Konechny jerseys and all of them because I really did believe that this was the guy that was the future of the team.
Yeah.
I still think that he is the best player on the team currently right now. No doubt about it. But again, look at the team that you have. It's not that great. But
building.
He has value. And I think what makes Konechny so special is while he's never going to be, the best player on basically any other team in the NHL, he will be a big asset to any other team in the NHL, especially a cup contending team. He will add something maybe to the second or third line. So I think that, again, you want to get rid of these big contracts. I know that he's asking for reportedly around like $10 million. It's something crazy, which the Flyers should not do at all. They need to package that and get some value and asset out of him while they can. The problem with the Flyers is, and they did this at the trade deadline, they didn't utilize Scott Laughton. I know they spoke to some people about it. I personally still think that they were trying to go to the playoffs. But you have to get rid of some of these players that while they've been here and while you've grown to like them and they've been so good to the city, they have big contracts. They still have value. Get rid of them. Get assets. Get draft picks. Get anything that you can. Cap space, cap relief, all of that. Konechny, do I think that in 5 years from now he will be here? No. Do I think in 1 year from now will he be here? No. If it's not this offseason, it's free. It's a trade deadline.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, because he's a guy that is a fan favorite.
I don't want him to leave on my fan side of me, but...
Right. Logic's brain is different.
Yeah, but knowing how the organization is and the trend that they're heading, I could see Konechny going to a team maybe like Ottawa even.
The Sens. A lot of history with the Senators around here.
I guess finally, right, I just have to get it out of my system because I have his jersey hanging and I haven't even gotten a chance to wear it and it's just worthless.
No.
Carter Hart is over, right? He is forever gone. It's over.
It's done.
Toast.
Yeah. It's weird how the NHL handled all of it because technically, he's still on,
Yes,
payroll.
exactly, yes.
So, I was looking even today for guys that are up and will be free agents, and like his name came up on the list for this coming season, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about you. Yeah, no, he's done. I don't, at the end of the day, he allegedly committed a crime.
Right.
Nothing confirmed. But yeah, like this situation, it sucks for the fans too.
It does.
Because you thought you had a franchise goalie, and I still don't think that he was that great in net, and it makes sense as to why he wasn't. He was probably in the back of his mind knowing something was going to happen. I mean, this past season, the games that he played, he sucked. So it's really a shame for all the fans, mostly the ones that bought his merch and all that. Because again, like, how do you explain to a little kid as well that's a fan of the Flyers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's not playing anymore.
Right. That's an awkward conversation to have. And the Flyers and any organization would truly at this point want no part of that.
No, it's over.
Yeah, it's a shame. So, Haley Taylor Simon on the vet line. Before we let you go, Stanley Cup, here we are. Who's going to win it and how many games?
Panthers in 6.
Panthers in
Now,
6.
there
You have it. You heard it here first.
I think the Panthers win, too. I don't know 6 or 7, but I thought Florida was going to win this.
I think just
Definitely
the old Wayne Gretzky fan in me, wants to see Edmonton.
Yeah, because of
take
Connor
it.
I'll tell you
McDavid.
why.
Yes, please do.
Edmonton's not going to win because they have Corey Perry, and the curse of Corey Perry will continue.
There we go.
There we go.
Said that. I'm not a huge hockey guy, so I don't know what the curse is, but I'll take your word for it.
He's been in the Stanley Cup Finals for about, I believe it was 3 seasons. I mean, he won in 07 with the Ducks.
Okay.
He went back 3 seasons in recent years and have lost all of the finals.
That is a curse.
The curse will continue.
Yeah, it's not good. So I also want the Panthers too, because I always like seeing a team win their first franchise cup.
Yeah, I like that too, and that's in any sport.
Yeah, because they're good every year, but they never get all the way.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Fair enough. A lot of Philadelphians become Floridians.
Yeah.
That is true. Hey, you're not wrong on that one.
I have family down there, so I hear you. Haley,
Me
thanks
too.
so much thanks for hopping on with us on the Vet Line. Pleasure to have you, and we hope to catch up with you again soon.
Thank you for having me.
Need a better betting app? You need Rhythm.
Rhythm makes it easy to find AI-backed picks and player props for every single NFL, NBA, and game. You can build custom sports betting models or have AI build them for you and start getting recommended bets, score predictions, and more that will help you become a better. Download Rhythm now and start getting free picks daily. Rhythm is the place for data-backed props and picks. RITHMM.
Rhythm is a proud partner of the Vet Alumni Podcast. Have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. It's time for Prem's Picks.
These games are a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your children's unborn children on these games.
Prem's Picks. Where we at now?
Well, another 1-2 week has me at 8-10. Really making me make that intro like a lie. But I'll tell you what, though, Tek, 8-10.
It's keeping you honest. See, I'm getting a kick out of it every week.
Of course you are. What 8-10 means to me, with 3 picks coming up, is that I could be 11-10 next week, Tek.
You could be.
So here you go. 3 money line locks. So, Tek, in a weird it's baseball type of thing, because we always say that's baseball.
Yeah, it's baseball.
The Pittsburgh Pirates took a series from the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, you didn't see that one coming.
Didn't see that one coming. Did you see that one coming?
No, when it happened, I said, there's one of the picks right there.
I know you were. However, tonight, Apple TV's game is the Minnesota Twins, who are a good baseball team.
Yeah.
Going to Pittsburgh. And what tends to happen with these average clubs that win series they're not supposed to win?
They fall back.
They fall back to reality a little bit. You got Joe Ryan going for the Twins, who's one of their better pitchers at 3.38 ERA. And I'll give it to the Pirates. Their best pitcher in terms of wins, Mitch Keller, is going for them. But Joe Ryan, a 1.01 whip, 77 strikeouts, only 11 walks.
Yeah.
The guy's a machine. And the Twins play in a surprisingly better division than anybody thought this year. The AL Central has been a bit more competitive. I think the Twins go in and win in Pittsburgh on Apple TV. I think people are going to be excited in Pittsburgh. They're only one game out of a playoff spot in the crazy wild card race. Like every team is like within striking distance. Doesn't matter. Take the Twins, money line in Pittsburgh tonight. Apple TV, lock. Now I'm giving you a fun one, Tek. I'm going right back to a team we just mentioned, the Dodgers, going to Yankee Stadium for what some people that don't believe in the Phils might call a World Series preview.
Yeah.
Some people still believe maybe the Dodgers are winning the National League. And I can't be mad at that because maybe they are.
Yeah.
But the Phils have been great, but maybe the Dodgers get it done. Who knows? You got Yamamoto at Yankee Stadium going for the Dodgers against Cody Poteet, who has been a surprise for the Yanks.
Yeah.
2.45 ERA. Only a couple starts, though. But Yamamoto, 6-2 at 3.32. 76 Ks, only 14 walks. The guy's been pretty much as advertised for the most part.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers coming off that aforementioned series loss.
Yeah.
I think they really need to get a win against, and they're going against the younger pitcher. This lineup, we know the Dodgers lineup is stacked.
Yep.
Even though the Yankees are obviously favored at home to win, I think the LA Dodgers go into Yankee Stadium and knock off the big bad Yankees. You can take it to the bank. Take the Dodgers money line, Tek. That's another lock. Feels like 2-0 so far.
All right.
Last pick to get me to 11-10. Diamondbacks at Padres. I'm giving you 3 road winners because Brandon Pfaadt, who made the Phillies look goofy in the NLCS last year, takes the mound for the Diamondbacks in San Diego. I know San Diego's been a little bit better since they got Arias, who has just been phenomenal. I don't care. Michael King is going for them. Pitcher 4-4, 3.82 ERA. Pfaadt hasn't been as good as we thought he would be, but I think he bounces back against the team that Arizona actually handled pretty easily for the most part last year en route to their NL title. I think that the Diamondbacks go in and they get a win in San Diego after they just had a tough series, a close series with the Giants where they won some tight games. But I think that you're going to see the Diamondbacks go in there, and this is going against the book. 92% of the picks are coming in on San Diego. You know what that tells me? Arizona wins. There you go, Tek. Arizona at San Diego. I'm giving you 3 road Friday winners in the major leagues.
And that's a lock.
We're going to recap. We got the Twins winning in Pittsburgh.
Lock.
The Dodgers winning at Yankee Stadium.
Lock.
And the Diamondbacks winning at that goofy That's What's in San Diego.
Oh, boy. Lock.
This has been Prem's MLB Picks.
Make sure to catch us tonight, Fox 29.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic sports show. We're going to be there live in studio.
Can't wait.
With our boy, Jay Martinez.
It's going to be another one for the ages.
It's one for the ages. Make sure you tune in. And with that, we'll see you tonight, but we will see you next week.
Vet Alumni.